All right, so we'll try this again. The last time I went live, it buffered really bad. So we'll give it just a second. And then I'm going to go into something about the movement, our movement. What I'm about to play is something that Donald Trump said shortly before uh, the election. And if you look at it in the big picture of the Q movement and you see where we are today versus when he uttered these words, what I want to do is have you listen to the next 10 or 15 seconds. And this is also commonly known as the speech that got Trump elected. So we'll give it just a second.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exists for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself.
Did you hear the first part of that speech? It's about replacing a system that has kept you asleep. It's about replacing everything that you know to be normal in your life. And it's not really normal. It's your version of normal. You've been brainwashed. I'm sorry. We've all been brainwashed. Totally. But not in the worst kind of way. Trump spelled it out before he even got to be president. Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt government. First sentence of his speech before he was even president. And has not everything that he's done since then shown you that that is exactly what the movement is about? It's about replacing a failed and corrupt government. That's what's going on. So I wanted to be short and sweet tonight. I didn't want to do a long one. I'm jumping in. I'm just putting this out there. When you think that nothing is happening, when you look at the last 2+ years under President Trump, when you look at the year and 3 months, 4 months, about to be 5 months that we've had Q in our life, there's been many things that have shown that even by a mathematician's best hypothesis, that what we've learned through the Q drops coincided against what the president drops in his tweets is mathematically impossible, that they're not doing everything that they say they're doing. So it's time for you to throw away your illusions, throw away the things that make you hate government. It's time to trust the plan. It's time for you to trust the plan. I mean, everybody wants to be, I guess, a loner or have their own way about them, and you can. You can still be a loner, and you can still have your own way about you, and you can still trust the plan. Because the the very things that you're afraid to become, which is somebody that jumps on to something that is so huge, we don't even understand it in our age groups. I'm 47. I didn't get to see what happened in World War II. I didn't get to see what happened as a result of the Vietnam War, which, I mean, basically we did on video finally, and we saw it. But what's going on is bigger than anything that really the last century has ever experienced, ever. It may be bigger than anything in the last 500 to 1,000 years. I don't know. But it's huge. And when it's all said and done, you're either going to be awake or you're going to be the person that's not awake. I mean, if you're going to be on this earth, wouldn't it be better to be awake and want to understand the plan? I would think so. If you don't trust what's going on if you don't see what's happening, if you didn't listen to the president's speech today in Miami when he was addressing Venezuela and he spoke about socialism, I mean, if you don't have that inside of you, that you've seen that or heard that, that's okay, I guess. But man, there were so many things that were said in that speech that were reaching right out to us in America that are in favor of President Trump taking down this deep state, this corruption. Uh, and corruption is a cleaned up word for what these people have done. Corruption, they should only be so happy as to be charged with corruption. They'll be charged with treason on the highest level. That's so far beyond corruption that they're not in the same ballpark. But you'll never hear. Maybe we will, but I don't think we'll ever hear exactly what it should be called, which is treason and sedition against a government. Maybe we will. I don't know. But let's not fight about the semantics about how to be addressed. At the end of the day, it's all BS. It's all shit. They're all shit. At least those that have the loudest voices, they were all shit. And are, and continue to be the loudest voices. I don't think the entire government is corrupt. I don't. I think, they got to recruit a certain percentage that will toe the company line. And in this case, it's socialism. It's so much more than socialism. But as a big blanket laid across what it is, it's socialism. And then there's many factions inside of socialism that have aided to root out what America was meant to be, or whatever that means. I mean, but there's many. There's many. So what I'm saying is that trust the plan. I'm not doing videos every night because it feels silly to get on here and go, trust the plan, trust the plan, trust the plan. But you know what? Every 2, 3, 4 days, I have to come on here and say, trust the plan. I mean, we don't have to have everything in our life full of drama and have it be like some kind of storyline. I mean, things are moving. Things are moving. Trusting the plan is a good thing. Why? Because it's been proven to be a good thing. So I'm behind it. And there's nothing bigger really in the world right now. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? But there's really nothing bigger right now than trusting the plan. And knowing that me sticking my nose into all the research I've done since Q came about, and since before then, in all the years I spent trying to learn how to be awake and all of those things, it's all worth it right now. I mean, we are watching, as Q has said we would, we are watching the systematic destruction of the old guard that ran the world. For how many years? You guys have parents, grandparents, maybe great-grandparents. But I remember being young, watching my grandparents pass away, which is what we all do. But I remember watching it and thinking that, well, that's how things are, These people lived post-World War II and got to be a part of the biggest golden age for a country in newly recorded history. I mean, they really did. They got out of World War II, came back home, within 10 years, you had the highway system, the international highway system, as it would be, but that and the highway system was being built across America. Ports of entry with boats and ships were still very important, but not what they used to be. Not no they those people got to experience the golden years of America, and they learned to trust what America was because of the foundation it had given them to progress, raise families. It was all new. It was all budding. It was nothing but lots of money being put into America. It was it's exactly what's going to happen in North Korea. I mean, if you want to look at what North Korea is going to be, look at America today. Because as soon as they finalize this next meeting, you're going to see everything open up in North Korea. It's going to happen. It's untouched the way America was basically untouched until everything started really getting ahead of steam. I mean, North Korea is going to be huge. So there'll probably be some investment opportunities there. Keep your eyes open. But beyond that, America hasn't seen a golden age like it did through the 50s and 60s and 70s, all sprawling off of, what World War II did and what it did to enhance America. We haven't had that, most of us. I was a little boy in the 70s, so I didn't understand it. And by then they were in gas lines and they were already off. They were onto the petrodollar. So it was the beginning of the demise of the US dollar, which we haven't felt completely yet because it still has buying power, but it's coming. It's coming very soon. Nobody understands this more than Trump. He understands the end of the US dollar is right here. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to come on and stay on too late. Just trust the plan, you guys, okay? People that are speaking against it, or people that won't acknowledge it because they don't want to get involved and look at the research. Listen, watch them if you want, do what you want, but for me, I'd walk away from that shit. Nothing else but trusting the plan for me right now makes any sense at all. None. So anyway, with that, me, this show, whatever. Out. I'll see you when I see you next.